Tonight, chronic crimes.
And it was $450 worth of product in the 40 seconds.
Why shop owners and the mayor of Portage-La Prairie are speaking out about a vicious cycle of thefts. Also tonight, contract contention. How much money a local towing company says it lost out on, and why it's now taking the city to court. Plus, fading friendships.
People need people.
What a new survey says about the time we spend with friends, and how one group is trying to buck the trend.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Dow. Marilee is away. A store owner in Portage-La Prairie is sharing a video of a brazen daytime theft to show how widespread the retail theft problem is getting. Jana Braxma says the person on the video is a repeat offender, and there are others like her. She says there is little they can do about it. CTV's Jeff Keel joins us now live. So, Jeff, what is the business owner calling for?
She's calling on all governments to get serious about bail reform because she says she's heard of people getting arrested, released, and shoplifting again the same day. Security footage, you can see a woman on the right side of the screen take clothing and put it in a bag. The owner of the store says the individual then took off without paying.
And so it was 40 seconds from the second the first door opened to the second she walked out. And it was $450 worth of product in the 40 seconds.
Jenna Braxma says the person has stolen from them many times, and there are others just like her. The Threes Company boutique owner in Portage-La Prairie says chronic shoplifters are caught, released, and back stealing again.
We have multiple different videos of thefts.
She's sharing this one video to make the point this is a daily occurrence for many small businesses, impacting the bottom line and their staff.
It's an awful feeling as an owner.
The province says it is keeping a closer watch on chronic offenders with electronic monitoring and has directed provincial prosecutors to consider the impact on the community during a bail hearing.
Now it's really for up to the federal government to take that step to strengthen those criminal code measures to ensure that people are being held to account.
The Federal Justice Minister's office says people who are a risk to public safety or a flight risk should not be given bail. Our government is committed to cracking down on repeat violent offenders by making bail laws stricter for violent and organized crime, home invasion, car theft, and human trafficking.
It's incredibly frustrating.
But the mayor of Portage-La Prairie says bail laws need to be changed not just for violent offenders, but those who continually commit non-violent acts like theft.
We need more rehabilitation. We need these small, petty things to be dealt with because that's what's affecting the heart of our communities.
Portage-La Prairie does have a community safety officer program, 6 full-time members and 1 part-time member, and they do have the power to arrest.
So, Jeff, was that suspect seen on the video caught and charged?
Well, RCMP tell us that a 45-year-old woman was arrested and remains in custody until a July 18th court date. According to court records, it shows charges from June 17th of theft under $5,000 and on June 18th for possession of property obtained by crime and a weapons offense, possession for a dangerous purpose.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. A 39-year-old woman has been killed in a stabbing in Selkirk. RCMP say it happened late Monday at a business on Manitoba Avenue in the city just north of Winnipeg. Police and emergency medical services responded to the call and found a woman with critical injuries. She died a short time later in hospital. Her death is being investigated as a homicide and police have made no arrests. And this afternoon, Selkirk RCMP released these 2 images of a woman they want to identify and speak to. RCMP say they believe this person was in the vicinity of the stabbing. If you know who this person is, you're asked to call Selkirk RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Those affected by wildfires can now apply to have important federal documents replaced for free. The government says that extends to things like passports, citizenship cards, or travel documents that were lost, damaged, or otherwise made inaccessible by wildfires. If you've already paid to replace them and did so after April 1st, you can instead request a refund. Additionally, temporary residents, international students, and other visitors who were impacted by the fires can apply to restore or extend their status or renew their permits free of charge. The measures are in place until November 30th. A Winnipeg towing company is taking the city to court, alleging its competitor was given preferential treatment over contracts worth millions of dollars. Bison Towing's lawsuit takes issues with two separate contracts that were awarded to Tartan Towing last year. One was for the city's parking authority and the other for police. Bison says it had the strongest offers and it claims Tartan should have been disqualified because of ongoing legal issues between it and the city. Bison claims it lost out on more than $4 million yearly on top of money it spent upgrading its storage space to meet the contract requirements. The City of Winnipeg declined to comment as the matter is before the courts. Tartan Towing is not named as a defendant. The former head of Manitoba Hydro was paid more than $880,000 last year. That's despite being dismissed 6 weeks into the year. In previous years, where Jay Graywall worked a full year, she made around $500,000. The figure from last year suggests a six-figure payout when she was let go as president and chief executive officer. Graywall had ruffled feathers when she said Manitoba would reach out to independent producers to supply power from wind and other sources. You're going to pay a higher cost to get high. The province is increasing the price of cannabis by 2%. The province is the wholesale provider of cannabis to retail outlets. They're now charging those stores an extra 2%. Minister Glenn Simard says adjustments like these are made as the cannabis industry matures. And despite the price hike, Simard doesn't believe the industry will go up in smoke.
We'll have a competitive price like we've always had for this product in Manitoba. And with the market, with the adjustment, we'll still have the lowest markup in the country. So our concern is making sure that Manitobans are treated fairly and that the revenues created by cannabis sales and markups go towards serving Manitobans.
Minister Simard says they are working with the cannabis industry on potential changes in the future. This could include lifting the requirements that windows and doors be covered. A woman being sued by her ex-boyfriend over a Lotto 649 jackpot says she doesn't owe him a cent. That's according to her statement of defense filed last week. CTV's Daniel Halmerson has been following this case closely. So Daniel, what does the statement say?
Well, Catherine, Crystal McKay claims the winning ticket was a birthday present, and she denies ghosting her ex after collecting the $5 million prize. A Manitoba woman who won the lottery says the ticket was a gift and the $5 million jackpot is rightfully hers and hers alone. Crystal McKay is being sued by her ex-boyfriend Lawrence Campbell 16 months after cashing in a Lotto 649 ticket.
Manitoba's newest lottery millionaire, Crystal McKay of Winnipeg.
According to his lawsuit filed in May, Campbell alleges he bought the ticket for himself in January 2024, but was told he couldn't claim the winnings because he didn't have valid ID or a bank account. Instead, he alleges he was instructed to let McKay publicly claim the prize and hold on to the money until he got his affairs in order. In a statement of defense filed in Manitoba's Court of King's Bench on June 27th, McKay says Campbell gave her the ticket as a birthday present.
And she's been asking me for like 3 weeks already just to get a ticket, but I never went and got one. So, and then we finally drove by one, and I was like, hey, I might as well just go get you one right now then. So.
She claims after checking the winning numbers online, she scanned and signed the ticket at a Shoppers Drug Mart with Campbell recording the moment. The statement of defense says, quote, the plaintiff stated in the video he recorded that his girl won the lotto. At no point did he state he won. McKay says she signed documents at the Western Canada Lottery Corporation a couple days later, stating she was the sole owner of the ticket. McKay says there was never a discussion between the couple or with the Lottery Corporation that she was claiming the prize on his behalf. Further, she alleges Campbell signed a release stating, quote, he did not have any claim to or interest in the ticket or any prize resulting to the ticket holder. Campbell claims McKay dumped him shortly after and kept the money for herself. He also alleges she, quote, ghosted him by cutting off contact. McKay said in her statement that she asked to end the relationship nearly a month before the lottery win and denies any allegation she ghosted him. In an emailed statement, Campbell's lawyer says, quote, the defense filed by Ms. McKay is logically contrarian, emotionally aggressive, and legally unsound at every turn, let alone patently unreasonable. None of the claims have been tested in court. In June, a Manitoba judge issued an injunction prohibiting McKay from selling or transferring anything of value until the lawsuit is settled. McKay is also required to provide a list of all assets valued at more than $3,500.
So, Daniel, have the Lottery Corporation said anything about this case?
Catherine, the Western Canada Lottery Corporation and Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries were also named as defendants in this lawsuit, which alleges Campbell was given bad advice and wasn't warned of the inherent risk of allowing his then partner to claim the winnings. Both corporations filed statements of defense this week. The corporations say they either deny the allegations or have no knowledge of them. The statement says they do not owe a duty of care to Campbell, and they ask that the claim be dismissed with costs.
All right, thanks for this, Daniel. CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady joins us now with a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. I think we're all rich in terms of weather, Colleen, today. It was a hot one and very sunny.
Yes, right now 29.2 degrees out in Melita, the hottest temperature of the day in the province. Here in Winnipeg, we got up to 28.4. At least that was the highest hourly recorded temperature. So both our communities tonight, no surprise, are under a heat warning issued late this afternoon by Environment and Climate Change Canada. You can see Winnipeg out to Brandon, all those areas a little further south, and then up into the southern Interlake, picking back up again in east central areas and then spilling over the border into northwestern Ontario. So I'll show you how hot it's going to get and how long the heat is going to last coming up. Let's take a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. It's hot and hazy out there in Winnipeg. 28 degrees. It's sunny. Otherwise, it's windy too. Winds out of the west-northwest at 19 kilometers an hour, gusting to 28. The pressure is rising, and the humidity right now, Catherine, is 43%.
Thanks, Colleen. Face-to-face friendships may be fading in Canada. New data suggests Canadians are spending less time with friends as life becomes increasingly busy. But as CTV's Danton Unger reports, one group here in Winnipeg is looking to buck the trend.
For the past 41 years, Ray Antimus has been running the Adventures for Successful Singles Group here in Winnipeg.
The goal is to make sure people are enjoying themselves, intermingling with each other.
It dubs itself Manitoba's most popular singles club, with up to 50 events each month.
Pickleball on Sundays, cards and games, Sunday brunches, billiards, where you're interacting with people.
Now, it's not a dating group, though Antimus does admit some members do end up finding love.
Many people do get friendly in that respect.
But the goal of the group is to help members find community and connection.
They want to meet other people, not necessarily for romance, but to be with other people.
Those kind of friendships may be fading. According to new data from Statistics Canada, the time Canadians are spending with friends has been dropping in the past few decades. In 1986, nearly half of Canadians saw friends on an average day, but in 2022, that dropped to just 1 in 5. Canadians between the ages of 25 and 64 saw the sharpest decline. Dalhousie University sociology professor Laura Ermian says life has changed since the 80s, and with the rising cost of living, work often takes priority.
If you start to think about the various ways that people might be squeezed for time right now, maybe it's not so surprising that friendship, the most informal, the least obligatory, is the first thing to go.
But Antimus says a lack of friendship, or at the bare minimum social interaction, can have big impacts, leading to depression and loneliness. He says the pandemic and social media have only made the problem worse.
People need people. And I mean, you can, not against the apps and social media, but the thing is, people really do need people.
That's why he hopes his group can put the emphasis back on friendships face to face.
So if they're making friends, that's the big thing.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Wading pools across the city are now open. However, one splash pad is missing a popular feature. The water slide at the Dakota Community Center Water Play Park is gone. The city says the slide had to be removed because of accessibility issues. As part of a renewal project, crews have also repaired the wading pool. The city says it knows getting rid of the slide is disappointing to some people, but noted that new features will be added, including buckets that fill with water and dump the water every few seconds. These features have zero water depth and a flat surface, so anyone can enjoy them. Splash pads are open between 9:30 and 8:30 until September 1st. It may soon become more affordable to use the weight room at one city pool. The city is exploring the possibility of lowering the fees for the fitness area at Sherbrooke Pool. A motion says the entrance fee is higher than similar facilities in the area, and lowering fees would help draw more people in. It currently costs $8.14 to access both the pool and fitness area. During today's meeting, the Community Services Committee directed the Public Service to review possible rate changes and report back in 90 days. The artistry and resilience of generations of Métis grandmothers will serve as the foundation of a new heritage center in downtown Winnipeg.
This is more than a collection. It is an artistic and culturally relevant legacy.
Today, the Manitoba Métis Federation welcomed the transfer of stewardship of the Our Grandmothers collection. It includes around 147 pieces from the early 19th century through 1910, including clothing, blankets, fire bags, embroidery, beadwork, weaving, and more. The collection was assembled over the past 2 decades by professor and artisan Gregory Schofield, who noticed a lack of Métis representation in museum and gallery collections.
These pieces really carry our histories, they carry our stories, they carry our geographies, and so it was very important for me to be able to collect them.
The Our Grandmothers collection will go on display with artifacts MMF has been assembling on its own at the Red River Métis National Heritage Center. The center at the corner of Portage and Main is expected to open in 2027. Still to come, Prime Minister Mark Carney meets with top automotive executives.
The targets that have been established cannot be met, and that will be part of the discussion.
Why electric vehicles were top of the agenda and the role the sector could play in upcoming U.S. trade talks. Plus, the trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs reaches its dramatic conclusion. Those stories just ahead. Looking at the markets, crude oil added $2. The loonie rose to 73.41 cents U.S. Gold futures closed nearly $10 higher. The TSX posted a small increase. The Dow Jones closed flat, and the Nasdaq gained 190 points. A head-on crash has claimed the lives of 2 people. Swan River RCMP and EMS responded to the crash yesterday afternoon on Highway 10, just north of Road 224 North. The initial investigation suggests a vehicle going south crossed the center line and hit a vehicle parked on the side of the highway. 2 people in the southbound vehicle were taken to hospital with critical injuries. The people in the parked vehicle, a 42-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman, died from their injuries. We turn now to the importance of trade talks with the U.S., with the countdown on to reach a deal by July 21st. Today, Prime Minister Mark Carney sat down with top industry executives with a focus on Canada's auto sector. CTV's senior political correspondent Mike LeCouture has more.
Inside the Prime Minister's office, Mark Carney huddled for an hour with the Canadian CEOs of GM, Ford, Stellantis, and the Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association. When it was done, François-Philippe Champagne said little about the discussion.
We had a very good meeting talking about the industry, and we've been very, very clear. We're always going to be there to support the workers and the industry.
He refused to say whether or not the federal government will keep the electric vehicle mandate. By next year, 20% of new passenger vehicles sold in Canada must be either battery-powered or hybrid. It was something car makers clearly wanted to discuss ahead of the meeting.
EV mandate itself is not sustainable. The targets that have been established cannot be met, and that will be part of the discussion.
Those in the industry say EVs currently account for 9% of total sales. And if they fall short, Flavio Volpe says it's the car companies that pay.
To sell regular combustion units, they've got to buy a credit from some company that's earned it, or spend $20,000 per unit on charging infrastructure.
On top of that, those same car companies continue to deal with 25% tariffs from the U.S. Now, there is a carve-out for components that are built in America through the integrated supply chain. Still, Canadian auto exports in the U.S. fell by 23% in April.
They make 6 or 7% a year profit. If there is a tariff in for 5, 10, 25%, it makes those operations untenable.
According to a readout from the Prime Minister's office, the meeting also looked at ways to make Canada's auto sector more sustainable and competitive in the face of shifting trading relationships, something that could be more urgent if Canada isn't able to strike a trade deal with the U.S. in the next 19 days. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
A bombshell verdict after 13 hours of deliberation in the high-profile case against rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs. A reckoning some call this generation's O.J. Simpson trial. The music industry icon was acquitted of the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, but convicted of prostitution-related offenses. CTV's Adrian Gobriel on the downfall of the former American rapper and what happens next.
Waving and smiling, the Combs family exited this New York City federal court. As protesters came face to face with supporters of Sean Diddy Combs, emotions running at a fever pitch, just moments after the jury delivered their split verdict.
Let Puffy go! Let Puffy go!
Delivered on the third day of deliberations, the jury of 8 men and 4 women declared the 55-year-old Combs not guilty of 1 count of racketeering, conspiracy, and 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, but guilty of the lesser charges of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs, who's already been incarcerated for 10 months, could still face considerable prison time. At sentencing, each of the prostitution transportation charges carry as much as 10 years behind bars. While Combs' lawyer declined to comment,
We'll be saying something soon.
Multiple criminal law experts are declaring today a victory for the former hip-hop mogul.
It's absolutely a win. The defense took a really big gamble going to trial on this case.
The prosecution called 34 witnesses to the stand, multiple ex-girlfriends, including singer Cassie Ventura, who claimed that Combs forced her to engage in sexual encounters called, quote, freak-offs and hotel nights. Jurors watched this 2016 hotel video of Combs dragging and kicking her. Ventura's lawyer stopped short of calling today a victory for his client.
We're pleased that he's finally been held responsible for 2 federal crimes, something that he's never faced in his life. He still faces substantial jail time. Of course, we would have liked to have seen a conviction on the sex crimes in RICO, but we understand beyond a reasonable doubt is a high standard.
With this decision, Combs avoids a possible life sentence. Moments after the verdict was read out, his family began to cheer in the courtroom as the one-time music star appeared to fall to his knees in prayer. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Washington.
Iran says it will not cooperate with the UN nuclear watchdog agency. This after the American and Israeli strikes on that country's nuclear facilities.
چگونه میتونید انتظار داشته باشید در شرایطی که
Iran's foreign minister says it cannot guarantee the safety of International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors. This will limit the ability of inspectors to monitor Iran's nuclear program. There have been reports Iran is enriching uranium to near weapons-grade levels. The U.S. says it will stop some weapons shipments to Ukraine. This includes precision munitions and air defense interceptors that are used to stop Russian drones and missiles. Ukraine says this will weaken its ability to defend itself against the intensifying Russian attacks. The Pentagon says it's pausing the shipments because it's concerned its own stockpiles are too low. Hamas says it is open to a ceasefire agreement with Israel, but it stopped short of accepting a U.S.-backed proposal. The Israeli government says Hamas is the main obstacle to reaching a truce.
Prime Minister is working to end the campaign in Gaza through the release of the hostages and the defeat of Hamas as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, the Israeli military continues its strikes in Gaza. Health officials there say dozens of people have been killed. Israel has agreed to a 60-day ceasefire in exchange for the release of the remaining hostages being held by Hamas. The Dalai Lama says he will have a successor chosen according to Tibetan tradition. The announcement ends years of speculation that the current Dalai Lama would be the last person to hold the role. The succession plan was laid out at a gathering in India just days before the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, and it comes in defiance of China. China has repeatedly said that it alone has the authority to approve the next spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism.
It can overtake an entire field of 160 acres.
And it's gained a foothold in rural Manitoba. Still ahead, how the province is changing its approach to dealing with water hemp.
Hot tomorrow, which is already Thursday. Hot on Friday, up to 32. No surprise there's a risk of a thunderstorm. Otherwise, a mix of sun and cloud. But a cold front is going to bring that to a rather abrupt end if you consider 25 significantly cooler. It's all relative. 25 degrees, mostly cloudy. Sunshine on Sunday, or a mix of sun and cloud, 24. Then we start to ramp the heat back up into next week. 26 under a mix of sun and cloud Monday. There is the possibility of showers Tuesday with a hot high of 27.
It's a noxious weed you may never have heard of, but water hemp has plagued producers for years, and now it's being downgraded by the province of Manitoba. CTV's Harrison Shin has more.
On Janice Johansson's calm soybean field in Lac du Bonnet, an unwelcome imposter might be lurking. It is called water hemp, a type of plant that can grow so tall it towers above crops. It had been classified as a Tier 1 noxious weed all over southern Manitoba.
Under the Noxious Weed Act, Tier 1 means that the landowner or producer is obligated by law to eradicate every single plant that is found and destroy.
But as of June 20th, the province downgraded it to Tier 2 in 28 RMs.
By moving it to Tier 2, you still, as a producer and landowner, are required to eradicate it if it's under 20 acres. But if it's over 20 acres, then the producer works more towards containment.
Johansson is on the lookout for water hemp in her fields.
If water hemp is left unmanaged on a particular field and nothing done, it can overtake an entire field of 160 acres within 3 to 4 years.
Part of the problem? Each plant grows a lot of seed.
So if it goes uncontained or unmanaged, it can become a very significant, costly problem for food production.
Producers can apply chemicals or mow it down to control it, but for Johansson, the most effective way? Do both.
There's a number of different things that we can do. So implementing all of these different components is what is going to make us successful in the end of managing this problem. Not just sticking with one particular method of management, but incorporating them all over the long term.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Lac du Bonnet.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your complete Skywatch weather forecast. Colleen, it's quite hot out there. I'm sure those with AC units have pumped them pretty high. How much longer are we expecting this heat to last?
Well, this particular round of heat coming through the province that's about to get even hotter in the next couple of days and even more humid as well. It's going to last for a couple of days. We'll get some relief, relatively speaking, on Saturday. You saw there pretty substantial drop in daytime highs. About 32 are forecast high for Friday, and then 25 by contrast on Saturday, and it will cloud over a bit on Saturday too. But until then, we have to wait for the cold front that's going to make that abrupt change. But it's going to bring things with it, not just the heat and the humidity. When it cuts through it, it's going to bring likely some thunderstorms as well. But until then, we should not be hitting the repeat button after those thunderstorms that, by the way, produced many beautiful weather photos. And our digital team, I just want to get this in right now, big plug for them. They're hard at work working on a photo gallery because we had so many beautiful photos, and thank you for that we have to put them on our website for you. So we'll show you a couple coming up. But for now, more stable conditions today. A nice ridge of high pressure over the continental United States, coming up as far north as the prairies today, keeping the sky clear. And there's also high pressure at the surface as well. So that kept things pretty clear. But at the same time, hazy out there, and that will continue into tonight. So Winnipeg and Brandon under that heat warning. All these areas lighting up in pink. Further north as well, heat warnings there through central regions, to the east as well, and over the border into northwestern Ontario. Hot there too. Here's a quick look at the current temperatures in Winnipeg. Still 28 degrees. Ditto for Brandon, 28 there. Up in the north, Thompson, 23. Lynn Lake is also at 23 degrees. Now, the best chance of overnight rain showers tonight is in the Lynn Lake area, and actually also over in Churchill. But across the northwest part of the province, further south from Lynn Lake, there's also the chance, albeit a lesser one, of showers or thunderstorms overnight. Winnipeg and the Red River Valley, we stay pretty clear. We also stay quite hazy. Winds are light. Then we get into tomorrow morning, and that's where there's the chance popping up further south into the southwest of some morning showers. And then as we get further on throughout the day, you can see scattered showers across the north, less so across the south, but the heat and the humidity is building. So we'll start to see showers come across southern Manitoba tomorrow night, Thursday night already. And take a look at this, 3 a.m. according to the Futurecast into Friday. And we could get a pretty good dump of rain over Winnipeg and the Red River Valley into the southeast, pushing off into northwestern Ontario. We get into the day ahead on Friday, and that's when that front is going to approach as we head into Friday night, and then that relief will come on Saturday. For tonight, clear but hazy, 14 our overnight low. Light winds out of the southeast overnight at 10 kilometers an hour. The UV index for Winnipeg tomorrow, Thursday already, is 9 or very high. As I mentioned, the best chance of showers overnight in the northeast is up in Churchill. Otherwise, it will be fairly clear for the rest of the region. Overnight lows 13, 14 degrees, 12 overnight for Thompson. A chance of showers there tomorrow with a high of 25 degrees. Lynn Lake, you may well see showers or a thunderstorm overnight, 15 the low. Can't rule them out though for Flin Flon and the Paw, and into early in the morning. Look at those hot highs, 29 degrees in the northwest for most areas. Clear tonight across the southwest. Brandon down to 14, 16 for Dauphin. Dauphin and Swan River, there's a pretty good chance you'll see showers, maybe a thunderstorm tomorrow. A lesser chance in the Brandon area, up to 32 there. Clear tonight across Winnipeg and the southeast, down to the mid-teens overnight, 14 for Winnipeg. Mix of sun and cloud tomorrow with hot highs around 32 degrees. And in northwestern Ontario, clear there, 15 overnight for Kenora. Sunshine and hot. Highs between 28 and 30 degrees. You can see why that heat warning is in effect there. Now, this weather photo was taken this morning right around 7 a.m. just west of Altona. That's a stunner. That one is from Jennifer. And take a look at this next shot. This is from Amber. This, I mean, it's just stunning, isn't it? Just what a phenomenal photo of those storm clouds as the storm passed over Somerset, Manitoba. And as I mentioned, please head to our website to check out more of these photos. Send us your photos too by email to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Beautiful photos. The province plans to fast-track health research in Manitoba with the opening of a new clinical trials office. The Research Improvements Through Harmonization in Manitoba project, or RHYTHM, is expected to streamline the review system. Officials say this will allow for faster and more efficient approval of bioscience research projects. A working group led by Research Manitoba has spent the past 10 months working on recommendations and timelines. Manitoba's post-secondary institutions will also be participating.
RHYTHM is more than streamlining paperwork. It's about creating an ecosystem where researchers can focus on science, accelerate innovation, and ultimately get solutions to the population faster.
The province says the life sciences sector contributes $5 billion a year to Manitoba's GDP.
They certainly should watch their children and make sure that they're not having symptoms from this virus.
It's one of the most common contagious skin viruses, and it's fairly easy for kids to pick up. Prevention tips you should know this pool season, just ahead in Medical Watch. Beating cancer in any form is a massive physical feat, and as a result, many survivors experience long-standing side effects even after they're in remission. Now, a new study led by a University of Manitoba researcher looks to learn more about these physical and functional impacts and what can be done to mitigate them. Joining me now to share more about this is Denise Drycleft, a physiotherapist and the study's lead. Hello, Denise. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So as mentioned, battling and beating cancer can take a big toll on the body. What sorts of side effects do folks experience once they are in remission?
So there is a vast array of side effects and physical and functional impacts from treatment. By far the most common is fatigue. We see that kind of throughout different types of treatment, but the side effects can range from neuropathy, pain, loss of balance, loss of strength, loss of range of motion, difficulty getting back to school, back to work, back to sports and activities and life, bowel and bladder problems, sexual health concerns. There's a wide array depending on the type of treatment that people go through.
Yeah, they can run the gamut, and we know research has shown that physical rehabilitation, physical therapy can really help with this. But you say Manitoba lags in some respects in terms of this aftercare. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, right now there's been no studies specific to Manitoba. There have been some kind of Canadian studies that have shown up to 87% of people deal with lasting physical side effects of cancer treatments. There's not been anything specific in Manitoba, and right now there still remains, although cancer rehab awareness is growing, there still remains a significant amount of unmet needs in this population, and there's definitely a lot of room for us to work on improving their quality of life and survivorship experience by kind of helping address some of these side effects and preventing unnecessary disability.
And this is really the crux of your study. Tell me, what are you hoping to learn through your work?
Well, in order for us to address these needs and try to improve accessibility of cancer rehab and physical rehab for this, we need to better understand what those unmet needs are and what the barriers are for people to access rehab. We know previous studies have shown that a majority of people experiencing side effects don't actually seek help for their side effects or get referred to rehab. A lot of them are told it's just the new normal, and so they don't even know that there's help that exists. So we're trying to figure out what those barriers are, figuring out the different types of cancer that create different side effects and the needs. So a lot of studies also kind of focus specifically on a certain number of cancer types. We're looking at all cancer types in this study, and so we're really trying to find out what those unmet needs are in Manitoba so that we can hopefully work on creating a better survivorship experience for people.
And you need participants for this study. So tell us who's eligible, and for those who are selected, what will be involved?
So it is a survey-based, it's a web-based survey. It takes approximately 20 minutes to complete. There is an option to leave the survey and come back and resume progress if that's required. To be eligible for the survey, people just need to be a Manitoban at the time of the survey, living in Manitoba, 18 years of age or older, having been diagnosed with cancer anytime within the past 10 years, and just the ability to read in English because the survey is in English.
And for afterwards, once you've compiled all your data, you've done all your research, what do you hope will be done with the findings? What do you want the next steps to be?
Well, first we're going to look at where the most unmet needs are, where they're existing, so that we can try to work to improve access and awareness. Certainly this, it can be impactful in our findings and trying to advocate for some improvements in this area and being able to provide services. Also, hopefully that this will prompt further research in the area so that hopefully we can develop a stronger accessibility and awareness of cancer rehab in Manitoba.
So if anyone out there watching if suits this criteria, they fit the bill, how can they get involved?
So the web-based survey, there is a link, and they can just fill out the questionnaire. There's a series of different questions, and we're hoping that as many people as possible can fill this out, because the larger number of people that we get replying, the more impactful our data can be. We're hoping to get responses as much as possible in the next few weeks before the survey closes. We do realize it's summertime, so we will be looking at kind of filing some paperwork to see if we can extend this study if needed.
We'll hopefully get the word out there for you. Okay, we will leave it there, Denise. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you very much.
It's a skin infection caused by a virus most commonly seen in children. It can spread through shared items like towels or pool equipment. Here's more from CNN's Mandy Gaither.
It's a common contagious skin virus. The CDC says mostly affects children ages 1 to 10. Molluscum contagiosum causes small raised sores on the body. Parents should know it can be spread by touching someone who has it or through infected surfaces or objects.
So the lesions will be pink and fairly smooth. They can range in size from 1 to 5 millimeters, and the locations on the body tend to be more often in our skin-to-skin contact areas, like under the arm, at the bend of the knee, bend of the elbow, sometimes the groin.
Dr. Joan Tamboro with Cleveland Clinic says the virus can live in moist environments that can include towels, clothing, toys, or pool equipment.
The most common place to get it is from another sibling. So in the home, a few things that you can try to do is, one, to switch off the towel and washcloth, between bathing.
Tamboro says parents can also help stop the spread by washing hands frequently, bathing siblings separately if one child is infected with the virus, and by covering the skin lesions with clothing. Many times the virus clears on its own without treatment, so Tamboro says it's just something for parents to be aware of.
They certainly should watch their children and make sure that they're not having symptoms from this virus, which would include itch, sometimes pain, and redness of the skin.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Coster Denture Clinic. Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Menopause, the musical.
The Gimli Film Festival is turning 25 this summer and is presenting a collection of award-winning films, documentaries, animations, and shorts.
Kristoffer, fólk í þínum sporum, það notar tækifæri til þess að
Touch is the winner of 8 Edda Awards, including Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, and Best Actor. This international romance is based on a best-selling novel of the same name. Also, Agatha's Almanac is making its Western Canada premiere. It tells the story of 90-year-old Agatha Bach as she preserves her ancestral farm in southern Manitoba. Filmmakers also have the opportunity to pitch their film for their chance to win a $15,000 grand prize. Plus, you can watch classic movies for free right on the beach every night. The Gimli Film Festival runs July 23rd to the 27th. Find all the information you need at gimlifilm.com. Netflix says the third and final season of the popular series Squid Games has smashed new records.
잠시 후 게임을 시작하겠습니다.
The company says it got more than 60 million views in its first 3 days of streaming, making it the biggest TV show launch ever for Netflix. And it debuted #1 in all 93 countries where Netflix has top 10 lists. And while the Korean thriller may have wrapped up, it seems the Squid Game universe could still continue, with rumors of an American spin-off in the works. A Saturday Night Live alum is stepping into the imaginative world of Dr. Seuss.
Cat in the Hat. You have gone too far.
Did you say toot fart?
Bill Hader will be lending his voice to the iconic role of the cat in the Hat upcoming animated film. The trailer shows the Dr. Seuss character trying to cheer up a pair of siblings who are struggling with the move to a new town. It will be the first feature film from the animation wing of Warner Brothers Pictures. The Cat in the Hat is set for release in February. Your primetime lineup kicks off at 7 with a rerun of The Big Bang Theory, followed by Battle of the Generations, and E-Talk wraps up the night at 10:30, all right here on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
28 degrees in Winnipeg right now. It's sunny, it's also hazy, and it's also windy. Winds out of the west-northwest at 19 kilometers an hour, gusting to 28. With the humid exit, feels just that much warmer, around 31. Not 26, up to 28. Correction, that was the high temperature today, not 26. It was 26 earlier. Heat warning in effect now for Winnipeg and Brandon, much of the south, parts of the north, and over the border into northwestern Ontario. So it's going to be a hot couple of days and warm couple of nights ahead. Tonight, 14, clear but hazy. 33 tomorrow. tomorrow, 32 on Friday with the risk of a thunderstorm. Then things cool off a bit relatively on the weekend.
Thanks, Colleen. She's known in her neighborhood as the Flag Fairy, and she mysteriously appears every Canada Day in Norwood Flats.
Every year it became a tradition that at 6 o'clock in the morning I'd take my dog that I had at the time and walk it and put the flags out at everybody's front porch or actually at the end of their sidewalks.
For more than 25 years, Shelley Kent has been placing Canada flags up and down Birchdale Avenue. It all began when Kent invited some neighbors over for a Canada Day party and put the flags out at the invitees' homes. Now it includes just about everyone on the street, and for the Flag Fairy, after all these years, this Canada Day may be the most special.
My husband and I used to always have Canada Day parties, and he passed away this April. So this year I thought, well, let's go put the flags out in his honor. So now every Canada Day, I will walk up and down and think of him and stick a flag in everybody's grass.
For the longest time, many people didn't even know who was planting those maple leaves on their lawns. Well, CTV News is finally revealing the secret, and we hope everyone on Birchdale had a great Canada Day. How could you not with that little surprise?
Yeah, lovely tradition.
No kidding, and what a way to honor her husband, too. Alrighty, that's going to do it for us. Remember, you can watch CTV News anytime on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Have a good evening.